Good morning and happy Wednesday. And welcome back to a daily dose of sports. This is All Around Athlete. I'm your host, Hunter Hughes. What's up, Kelly? Yes, we are live right now. We are so excited to have you guys. And it's another day, another great day to be alive. And I thought, hey, let's talk about some sports. Let's get it going. And here, let's just jump right into it. So we've got a couple of points we're wanting to touch on today. The Final Four matchups have been made, and as well as something interesting happened this weekend in the UFC. With the new heavyweight champion of the world, Mr. Francis Ngannou. And today we're going to talk about his incredible journey to get to where he has gotten today. But before we jump into that, let's jump into some Final Four matchups. The NCAA March Madness tournament has now dwindled down to a Final Four. And that is in the West region. The victor from that bracket was Gonzaga, followed by UCLA down in the East, which was pretty incredible. UCLA was a late entry into the tournament, had to play Michigan State just for the right to even be in the tournament. Pretty cool that they have made it as far as they have, and that their first Final Four appearance since 2008 when Russell Westbrook, you guys might know his name, was their point guard. Houston won in the Midwest, followed by Baylor. It's looking like it's probably going to be a Gonzaga-Baylor final, but nevertheless, we are moving right along with March Madness. It's been a great time watching that. The women's Final Four has also been set with Stanford, South Carolina, Connecticut, and Arizona. Pretty interesting story over on Stanford. Anna Wilson is their point guard, and her brother is the famous Russell Wilson, the quarterback for the Seattle Seahawks, and he is at every single one of her games. So brothers looking out, you got to show up to your sister's game, no matter how old you are, no matter how famous you are. You got to show up and show support for the fam, no matter what. Pretty awesome right there to see him supporting his sister. And Stanford is well on their way in the Final Four. And pretty interesting stuff going on over there. I'm definitely going to be tuning in. But the big story that I wanted to talk about today, it has to do with the new heavyweight champion of the world for the UFC, Mr. Francis Ngannou. And I know what you're probably thinking. Is that an action figure? No, that is not an action figure. That guy is 100% real. Although his nickname, I just found out, is the Predator. I mean, if we're going to talk about names, we have to mention nicknames as well, because I mean look at the guy. He looks like the Predator from the movies, just an absolute unit. And I'm gonna get into his journey, but this past weekend he challenged Stipe Miocic at UFC 260 for the heavyweight championship of the world. And if you had the opportunity to watch that fight, you know exactly what I'm talking about. He pretty much demolished Stipe. Got to give a little bit of credit to Stipe. He ate those punches. He definitely stood in there longer than I would have. He caught a kick in the first round that kind of made him stumble and kind of set the course for the rest of the fight, which of course he was able to get him in the second round with an absolute devastating hammer punch to the side of the head. He comes with a different force than I've ever seen in the UFC before. We've seen tactical, we've seen precision, different styles of fighting, but nothing quite like this guy and nothing quite like this guy's story, which is what I wanted to kind of go into today. Before he was the heavyweight champion of the world, Francis Ngannou grew up in, where are we at here? He grew up in Beatty, Cameroon. And this is what he used to look like back before he became the Predator and got himself a pair of shoulders to go along with those pecs and those abs. That guy's an absolute freak. Francis had an interesting story growing up. He grew up in poverty-stricken town of Beatty, Cameroon, and most of his days consisted of going through bins of trash looking for food. Extremely, extremely poor, looking for really anything just to continue living really, really harsh circumstances in Cameroon. Lived in a home with a bunch of brothers and sisters with a single mom. And from the age of 10, he was forced to dig at a local sand quarry. Brother Man was shoveling sand from the time he was 10 years old, just to provide his single mother and his aunt with one single day of labor, which I think from the research that I found is the equivalent of about $3 shoveling sand day in, day out for $3 a day. Other jobs, including a motorcycle taxi driver, were also part and parcel of Ngannou's day in order to just get the basics, even going to school with no pens or even a bag. However, we know this guy had a dream. He had to find a way to become the Predator and the new world champion of the world. And so I'm going to show you guys where he grew up. So this is Africa right here, and we got Europe above there. Duh. Okay, we got that. This is where Francis Ngannou grew up, down here in Cameroon. Okay. Now, he made several attempts to try to get up into Europe to try to pursue a fighting career. He'd get all packed up, head for the coast, and try to make his way up into Europe through the Strait of Gibraltar between Africa and Europe right there. But he got sent back. He's like, nope, I'm going to keep going. We gotta keep going after this dream. Let's give it another try. Nope, he's sent back. Brother Man tried 6 times trying to get out of Africa up into Europe before he finally was able to smuggle his way onto a boat to make it into Spain. Good story, right? No. He got put in jail whenever he got to Spain. He didn't have any papers. He traveled illegally. He literally smuggled his way onto a fishing boat to make his way up into Spain, into Europe, to try to pursue a dream. Got himself thrown in jail because of it. Was in jail for 2 months. Finally released, and that's where he made his way up into Paris. And once he was up in Paris, my guy was literally sleeping outside on the pavement, completely homeless, 100% without anything to his name in the entire world. And yet he still fought, and yet he still pursued. Finally, he was able to make his way into a gym where he met a coach named Didier Carmo. And from there, Carmo sponsored him with food, living, and a place to train. And the rest, as they might say, is history. From there, he became what is known today as the Predator Ngannou. He is the truth. He is the future of the heavyweight division of the UFC. And now, I don't know about you guys, but I can't help but draw a comparison between this guy's story and this guy's story. Man, he is just, it's very much similar to the story of Bane. Oh, you think darkness is your ally? He literally was born in a pit, forced to shovel sand, and found his way out of that darkness to pursue a bigger dream. I mean, that's literally the story of Francis Ngannou. Perseverance, never stopping, never quitting, laser like focused, getting to your final goal. And he finally got there. He finally got there amidst of all of the odds, amidst of all of the uncertainty, all of the trial. He kept moving forward. I mean, it is just an amazing story. And in a division of the UFC that has not suffered, just not had the superstar talent that they could have had in the past. The fighting world, since boxing's been on the decline, has been waiting, literally probably since the Tyson Lennox Lewis days in the early 2000s, have been waiting for a heavyweight fighter of this capacity to come around, and we finally have one. If you haven't watched one of his fights or some of his highlights, I highly recommend going to YouTube and checking him out. He is an absolute spectacle to behold. But yeah, an amazing story. I really thought you guys would enjoy hearing that. And that's it for today on the Daily Dose of Sports. I wish you all a happy Wednesday, and we will see you around next time. Kelly, thank you for hanging out. Stoked you're with us, man. And until next time, I'm Hunter, and this is All Around Athlete, where you'll get tips and tools to make you better at sports. Aloha, everyone.